All right. So question for the audience, who here would like to have a superpower, like a superhero? And
I do, I already have one.
what's yours? I know yours.
I can fly.
You can fly. One more? Anybody? Superpower? Mind reading. Perfect. Imagine you had the ability to have X-ray vision or read people's minds, and you knew which candidates were actually interested in your brand because they were raising their hand behind the scenes, right? They were showing you, without knowing, they were showing you signs that they were actually serious. So your Fran Dev team or yourself could focus on the people that actually are interested or actually want to learn about your brand. I want to talk to you how to do that in really my 4 keys. And so what I'm going to tell you what I'm going to talk about in my 10 minutes. I'm going to make sure I don't go over. The 4 keys: you build a personal story, you document that story, you then drive leads to that story, and then you track. And we're going to talk about that. And then I'm going to end with a little bit about our process at Voda and the tools and tech we use. And I want to be really granular in these 10 minutes. So I'll start with, I'm going to tell you my personal story because it's going to tie into this. So my story, I'm Dan. I've been in franchising 11 years. I got in this space when I was 22 years old. I started with the franchise system, and then when I was in 2016, I started a lead generation company. Built that for about 7 years, sold the business to private equity, and then took my capital and went out and bought a little flagship business in Northern Virginia. I remember coming here, I had no franchise locations. Everyone thought I was crazy doing this business. I then proceeded to take almost all of my money to put it into that business. Thought it would succeed, and it was the furthest thing from it. No one bought our franchise for many months. We were losing 70 grand a month in payroll, and I was quite frankly close to maybe calling it quits and having to get a job. Something changed. We ended up selling our first franchise, then another, and then another, and now we're at 200 territories with 82 franchise owners in 30 states. System-wide sales are very strong, and franchisees, most importantly, are very happy. That story is important because now what I say is going to make a lot more sense. You now know me. And that's what I encourage you to do as a franchise brand. People do not buy from brands, they buy from people. And so if you're the leader of your organization, you're a huge company, you're a small company, it doesn't matter. We heard John Hewitt talk about he's talking to his franchise owners still to this day because his message is powerful, right? I know for myself, getting to know him more, hearing his story, I now understand him more. It's the same thing for your candidates. And so the first thing I highly recommend you to do is figure out your personal story. Your personal story. If you're the Fran Dev director, that's fine. What is your story? What is your connection to the brand? And then my second piece of advice, once you've developed that story, is to document it. And again, I don't know why I don't see more franchise development directors doing this. You do not have to be the founder to document your story. You can go out, and when I mean document, I mean educating people on your journey. It means videotaping everything you do that you speak at. I have my video person here now. It means documenting the wins and the losses. It's the workout you did that you thought you weren't going to do. It's that, day you lost some weight or something. It's everything. People will buy more from you when they can see the reality of who you are. It's funny, the founder of Voda, he's an awesome guy, super polished. He doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do anything. And last week we were in Vegas for a franchisee conference, and I guess Vegas brings out the worst in us because he finally smoked a cigar for a little bit. And I took a photo of it, and yesterday I asked him if I could post it, and he said yes. And I was so happy because we're not perfect, right? And him showing that side of him was so cool. And it's so interesting, our team actually bought into that. Like, wow, like Dragon smoking a cigar, it's so cool. People want to see authentic content. And so what you do is you develop your personal story and then you document everything you possibly can. And I'll give you a quick example for myself on this documenting thing. I was skiing recently and I was at like an après-ski and everyone's having some dancing and drinking and hanging out, and I'm hanging out with my friend's 4-year-old son and we're pretending to DJ. And we recorded and I had a great time. It's a wholesome moment. And up until recently, I would never post something like that. I'm Dan, I'm the CEO of Voda. I have to be all serious. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. I posted that story and candidates actually in our process have said, oh wow, I didn't know you skied. That kid is cute. Where were you guys? They bond with you because people want to buy from a human being, not this perfect figure that pretends to be, because none of us are perfect, we all know it. So you create a personal story and then you document it. The next thing is you can't just document it. You then have to drive them to the documentation. My advice on how you do that is take your video content and your articles and everything else and create a hub. How we did it, or actually how we're currently building, is we use HubSpot CRM. We use a program called Vidyard. We put all the videos in that Vidyard video library, and you could see marketing, ops, validation, content, fun stuff, bloopers, And now what we have is candidates that come into our process. We immediately send them to this video hub. And they can watch whatever they want. Some people watch one video before they get on a call. Some people watch all of them. If I was buying a franchise, I would geek out and watch everything. What you want to do is you want to send them to the documentation that you created in one hub, right? Because you create your personal story, you document and you tell it, and then you drive people to the document hub, the video hub essentially. Next is you track. So that's the most important one. What we're doing at Voda and how we're able to award these territories in the pace that we are to the right people is we can see what they're watching and who's watching and how long they're watching the video content. And that's really important. We can see the behaviors that people are showing. Now, from a Fran Dev perspective, if you're in Fran Dev and you know that you're talking to someone that's never watched a video, they've had 3 calls with you and never watched a video, are they serious? Maybe, probably not, right? But if you know that out of your 30 candidates, 3 of them have watched every single video. They were on the weekend watching. They went back to a video about, different components. Wouldn't you want to focus your time on them? The second thing is when you get really good at tracking, you can identify the people that are actually, it's not a perfect science, but that are actually looking at the right things, right? I'll give you an example. If you want to be in the restoration space and your only reason to do it is to make money, I don't want you in my system, in our system. I want someone that wants to make an impact. So if we see that they're not watching the video content around impact, around community, around the things that they should get excited about, we know that this is maybe a yellow flag that we need to look into. The documenting and then tracking allows us to see what our buyers are thinking, like a superpower, like X-ray vision. And an interesting statistic, the marketing system of building this document hub, 80% of the buyer decision is made off of the phone. In this day and age, people make 80% of their decision if they're going to buy something based on your website, your content, your videos, before they get on the phone. And what the goal of this documenting process is that you create your team. You almost are, I don't want to say you're an order taker, but now you're just building relationships because they're digesting the content through the videos. Okay, so I'll walk you through our process real quick in my last 2 minutes. So everything I just said, the document hub, and we post. So my advice to you if you want to get started in content posting, I would get someone to record you. It could be your mom, it could be your friend, then you can get a video guy. I did not start having a full-time video guy. You go, you record anything you're great at. Like all of you have a superpower, talk about it, something you're passionate about. And by the way, it doesn't have to just be about your franchise. It could be about your love of tennis because you're building a personal story. Then what you do is you change your shirt and then you change it again and then you change your location. I spend 4 hours a month on content, that's it. Teddy, who's back there, films me. We change the shirt, change the outfit, change the location. It looks like we're filming every day. And then we record me doing whatever I'm doing anyway. That's how you start to get started with it. And then what you want to do is you want to post 1 reel a day, every single day. And what you want to do, and I know it's counterintuitive, you want to treat all the platforms like they're the same. Meaning I'll post a friends and family post that should go on Facebook, on LinkedIn now. It gets way more traction. And yes, you will get some of those people that tell you this isn't for LinkedIn, but they're not my buyer anyway, and they don't matter, right? What matters is driving development for franchise sales. What we do in our process, in my last minute, we get a candidate, we send them all of these videos, they watch whatever they can, we have an intro call, then we book a unit economics call to go through those numbers, and we see if they watched videos in between, and they're getting scored based on those interactions. If I can leave you with anything, taking your video camera, even if it's your iPhone, and recording yourself out of your comfort zone and building a personal story and then driving people to that, I can guarantee you will increase not only your closing rate, but bringing in the right people that believe in your story. Thank you.